All right, we got game 2 of your boys tonight. Game 1 didn't turn out the way you wanted it to. They played a good first half. Second half kind of went downhill for the Lakers. They're trying to tie the series up tonight, 1-1. Joker just has the number for the Lakers right now. I think there are 0-9 in their last meetings of seeing Denver. I know D'Lo was trash. Their social media has been ripping D'Lo. Not shocking in the playoffs. This is normally the standard for D'Lo. I think he's three for 24 in his last 3-point attempts against Denver. You need a lot more on both ends, offense and defense. AD looked nice. LeBron could have done better. But what do you got to change in game 2 to try to get a dub and tie this up this series?
Yeah, I think this one, honestly, having a day to think about this allowed me to reflect a little bit. And in comparison to what we just talked about to the Dallas Mavericks Clippers game, this to me is actually kind of a similar game that the Lakers played to the Dallas Mavericks, where Dallas really only relied upon two guys, Kyrie and Luka, to get the points on the board. And the Lakers did similarly, relied on LeBron James and Anthony Davis to get the points on the board, and nobody really stepped up outside of that. And you could say that's definitely the case for the Dallas Mavericks. Now, the game itself went a lot differently for the Lakers and Nuggets than the Clippers and Mavs did, where the Lakers came out as the more aggressive one. We came out firing. We were up, by 8 at the end of the first quarter. We got up to 12 or 14 in the first half, and I thought we were rolling, man. We were executing really, really well on the defensive end. Number one, our energy and effort on defense. We were flying around with these rotations. People will notice that we were switching almost everything, which is an interesting tactic for us. But what it did do is it helped us get out to those shooters and forced Jokic to take more shots than he's used to taking in that first half. Normally, he likes to ease into the game and feed other guys and get those guys going, get Michael Porter Jr. some open shots and get him rolling first, get Jamal Murray cooking a little bit. But we forced the issue, and of course Jokic was spectacular. The whole Denver Nuggets team played quite well. Their starters, their bench again let them down, but so did the Lakers. Really, the story for this game in particular for me is the second half is where things changed. Within that second quarter, we let that lead evaporate and it got tied, and LeBron hit an almost half-court buzzer beater before halftime to get us up by 3. So the writing was on the wall a little bit there. And all it took was maybe a lapse of concentration in that second quarter for the Lakers to give up that lead for 4 or 5 possessions. A couple bad shots, couple turnovers, boom, the lead is evaporated. And that's something that we're used to seeing out of this Denver Nuggets team, especially as a Lakers fan. And that continued in the third quarter. LeBron and Anthony Davis had like 37 points at halftime. LeBron had 19 at halftime. And then in the second half, LeBron only managed to score 8 total points and didn't take a shot in the fourth quarter until like the last 2 minutes of the fourth. So a lot of the press and the coverage, and rightfully so, a lot of the blame on this game will be on D'Angelo Russell, will be on Rui Hachimura and Austin Reeves. Those 3 guys are starters there, underperformed. But LeBron also disappeared in the second half. And the game changed specifically in the third quarter. We stopped for a period of time executing any sort of offense. And I want to put a little bit of a blame on here on Darvin Ham and the coaching staff for not demanding that we start running the plays that got us in the lead in the first half. But we were pairing that with really excellent execution for the Denver Nuggets on the offensive end. So they were executing their plays and hitting open shots, getting really good looks, which was not allowing us to get out in transition. But then we would come down and realize, I think a little bit of this is in the back of our minds from last year. We'd realize, oh shit, Denver's starting to roll. They're starting to get a lead on us. And we would try to play hero ball and come down and jack a 3. Anthony Davis, I think, took 3 threes in a row
Yeah,
in
what
that
are you
third
doing?
quarter, none of which were close to going in. We also had
Right.
really poor quick trigger threes from D'Angelo Russell, some really deep threes from Austin Reeves that were ugly. And that was really the demise of the game for us. We tied the Nuggets in the fourth quarter as far as scoring goes. It was 25 apiece, I believe. But really, it was the lack of execution on the offensive end and the lapse in judgment, thinking that we needed to all hurry and rush and get it back in, as soon as we could, as opposed to being a little bit more methodical in our execution in that third quarter that could have changed the game. So I'm disappointed, really, truthfully, in that second half in LeBron, just as much as I am in those other guys, because, like I said, LeBron 19 points in the first half, 8 points in the second, and really was non-existent for us as a playmaker with a lot of turnovers. As a shot maker, didn't make many. and a leader. I think he let us all down just as much as those other guys played poorly, like I mentioned. But the good news is this, Clips. It's not all bad. The good news is that we are in this. It's still, it might be reminiscent of what took place last year, where we were in every single game, and then they Nuggets ended up taking care of us. But we can execute offensively and defensively well enough to steal one of these games, in my opinion. I think we have enough to potentially steal game two, but we just have to play a virtually perfect game in order for that to happen. That means we have to be concentrated and focused the entire time.
Well, I don't think you have anything to worry about because Darvin Ham came out and said that he has many more adjustments that he didn't want to bring out on Joker. He's got many more in the bank for you. Like, dude, adjust during the game. That's what I'm saying. Whatever needs to be adjusted, just adjust it, Darvin. That's just a weird thing to say. And I don't know, man. I think you're right. I think Braun's due for another big game. Look, we're at the point now where Braun has to be the best player on the floor, or match Joker with everything that he's doing, assisting and points and shooting and all that shit. LeBron's got to be the guy. AD needs to stop taking threes, and your other guys definitely need to step it up. If they do that, you will be in the game. So, game two tonight.
Even considering all of those things that went bad, we were in this game. Like, we got it down to 6 again. The lead came down to 6 in the third quarter. When we finally started to drive to the basket, we finally started to run some fucking plays and feature Anthony Davis. And guess what? It started to work again like it was in the first half. It's amazing how that happens. And for LeBron, for all the stuff and criticism that he's getting from his podcast about like certain, things, the ways that he sees the game and how he's patting himself on the back of being such a genius. He certainly was not a genius in this game. 7 turnovers for LeBron in this game, man. And he only took 16 total shots. 16 total shots, 7 turnovers, bro. That ain't cutting it. That's not greatest of all time, as he was quoted in social media saying to his son Bryce when they were shooting in the driveway. That is not greatest of all time.
Well, this ain't the driveway, man. This is the NBA playoffs, bro.
Exactly. And if you're going to say you're the greatest of all time, this is when you have to show up and be the greatest of all time. So I think he will have a much better, more efficient half in the next game. I think the close with what I'll close here on my Laker thoughts is I also expect Rui to just be a little bit better. I really hope Austin Reeves, somebody yells at him or something, because he was like a ghost out there. It didn't look like he wanted to be in the game very much. Didn't look like he wanted the ball in his hands. He didn't have that same swagger and confidence that we know for Austin Reeves to have in these moments, as he's shown, over the last couple seasons. And then of course D'Angelo Russell. I actually think he did a pretty decent job defensively in this game, which is shocking. And it was the poor, quick shots on the offensive end that needs to change. He needs to get better looks. And then, granted, some of the looks were quite good. He just didn't hit them. So I think there's room for growth in this game, too, as we look ahead.
Game 2 is tonight in 2 hours. We are doing these YouTube videos for you guys. We're obviously going to be having our podcast as usual this week, but we're going to drop this tonight. Leave us a comment. Leave us a subscribe. Tell us what you thought about the games, what you think is going to happen with Kawhi and LeBron and everything in between. We're going to be back after Game 2 for the Clippers and after Game 2 for the Lakers. It's the follow-through with Clips and Drew, and we're Ghost.